We call the meeting to order. I get invocation. Lord, I'd like to thank you for waking us this morning to see another day. You know, everything with you, nothing without you, Lord. Lord, put your strong arm protection around those that are less fortunate and lead us in the path of righteousness. Lord, and as we conduct this meeting today, make sure you lead us in the direction that we need to go, make sound decisions, and put your strong arm protection around our state, our city, and our community, Lord. These are the blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
Commissioner Mashaw?
Here.
Commissioner Thorne?
Here.
Commissioner Arndt? Here. Commissioner Max?
Here.
Commissioner Jordan? Commissioner Hawkins?
Here.
Commissioner Skeen?
Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second. Commissioner Thorne?
Abstain.
Commissioner Arndt? Aye. Commissioner Max?
Aye.
Commissioner Mashaw?
Aye.
The first item is PL 1976, a request for a variance to allow a reduction in the required number of parking spaces. The subject property is located at 2600 McIngvale Road on the east side of McIngvale, south of Commerce Street. Duplantis Design Group representing all. Mr. Cardozo, present the plan and staff report and comments.
Yes, sir. This is PL 1976. The variance request is another reduction in the required number of parking spaces at Walmart located at 2600 McIngvale Road. As you mentioned, Duplantis Design Group's here tonight representing the owner. A little background on the project. We calculate our parking ratio based on the square footage of the building at 5 spaces per 1,000 feet. And so when the store was built, it satisfied that requirement. In 2018, Walmart requested a variance for the reduction of 10 spaces. It ended up being 12 because of the drive aisle for their pickup area. And then tonight, an additional variance to reduce the number of spaces to 747, which is a reduction of 31 additional spaces for the addition of a drone delivery service in the back part of the parking lot. With the new calculation of 747 spaces, that puts it at 4.7 per 1,000, which is below the 5. And so the request would be to have a total of 747 spaces, which puts it at that 4.7. For the approval or denial criteria, I'll read this for the record tonight, but that special conditions and circumstances exist or peculiar to the land, structures, or buildings involved and are not generally applicable to other land, structures, or buildings in the same district. The literal enforcement provisions of these standards would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties within the same district under the terms of this ordinance. Special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant, are not based upon economic considerations. In granting the variance would not confer on the applicant any special privilege otherwise denied by the ordinance of land, structures, or buildings in the same district. And I included the applicant's responses to each of those in staff report. Based on correspondence with the design group and Walmart, the national average for Walmart is 4 spaces per 1,000. Ours is higher than the national average of what the Walmart metric requires. So if we're considering that, this would be still within the allowance of the Walmart consideration, but below our 5 space per 1,000 square foot requirement. In the site plan, you can see, it's on the 3rd page of your staff report, you can see the location of where this drone delivery service is proposed to go. It's the second drive aisle from the southern end, located at the very back. And the Board of Aldermen did receive a presentation from the drone delivery service. And we've confirmed that it would be subject to all federal and local laws. And so there was a pretty lengthy discussion on what this drone delivery service is, but tonight's application is strictly for the parking reduction variance. And so that's where this drone delivery service will be located. The fence screening example you see appears to conform to all our design requirements. It'd be a wrought iron or faux wrought iron with the screening in the back, so you would not be able to see within the enclosure. And it would take up basically between the 2 landscape islands and encompass the middle landscape island of that southern drive aisle for the reduction of the 31 spaces. The applicant is here tonight, and I prepared motions to approve, to deny, and to table, however y'all see fit. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Cados? Would the applicant please come forward and state your, what?
Do they have requirements on like overnight parking or, because I know in some Walmarts, like people are allowed to camp in the parking lots. And I go to this Walmart all the time and half the time there's multiple tractor trailers parking and camping there. And so this is gonna reduce parking even more. Are they gonna change the rules or are the rules or?
I don't know. I do know that whenever we see a tractor trailer, it does violate our design or our parking regs, and so we contact store management and they kind of take care of it. I don't speak for Walmart, but I don't believe they allow the overnight truck parking. It's kind of a constant enforcement basis, but something we don't allow.
Usually it's on the weekends when I see it. They take up a lot of parking spots. Guess that would be my only concern.
Any other questions, comments? Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and address in its entirety?
Evening, I'm Andrew Robichaud, work for Duplantis Design Group. We put in the application for the parking request. To the Walmart question for the overnight trailers,
Address.
Our location is actually for, is 16675 East Brewster Road, Covington, Louisiana, 704, or 70343, or 704, one of those. To the question about the overnight parking, I do not specifically know for that store. There is, in our guidelines, there's no about the overnight parking for long trailers and all that stuff. So we can contact the store manager to find out about what they do for that situation. Any other questions, or do y'all want me to give a presentation or explain the process?
Yeah, let's see. You're with Duplantis,
Yes, sir.
so that's the design firm designing
We're doing the permitting process and the design for the site improvements.
but you're not the drone operating company.
No, the drone operating company is Wing.
Is who?
Wing.
Wing?
W-I-N-G.
Okay. Probably only, I know you do your presentation, probably the only thing is just security.
So most of the time, we've actually are also working on the Houston market stores. And as of right now, we have 28 stores permitted within the Houston market for drone operations. Per security, most of the time for our fences, we actually go through fire marshal code with certain security boxes and gate locks that are going on there. So fire marshal can enter those locks, and also the operating, who is going to be Wing operating it. On this specific case, we're going to be doing a kiosk shed. The shed is only storage for the drone parts. It has no electrical connections. It has no plumbing, no sewer, none of that. It's just purely storage for the drone to operate during the day. The battery system is it's called a BESS system. It's a battery, it's an electrical battery storage system. It's not a generator. So basically, Sunbelt, who is the provider for it, takes it. It's portable. Every 2 weeks, they change it out like a battery. Take it out, put it back in, and that's what operates the drones. For fencing, we're for this request, we're doing the ornamental fence, which is a wrought iron fence, with it also screening on the inside, so it's not able to see from the outside in. Specifically for the example as well, for the kiosk, you'll see it's a little bit above the fence. Right now, it's going to be a 6-foot fence in total height for the fence, and then about an 8-foot top of the pitch of the actual kiosk. Anything else?
So is this, and I don't know, do your presentation, I guess, because I don't have other questions.
That's pretty much it
is
for
it?
the, yeah, that's pretty much it for the
Is
presentation.
Is this a on-site person manning or operating these drones? Or is this all
So
remote?
one of the partners from Wing, Zenobia, is going to explain kind of the operations for the Wing side of it.
Good evening, all. Zenobia Haynes, address 3400 Hillview Avenue, Palo Alto, California. Answer your question.
Yeah, is this a remote operation, or will there be, instead of maintenance and folks coming in to like swap out the battery?
Yeah,
Are
so
the pilots on site?
the pilots are not on site. Our pilots are stationed remotely in Capel, Texas. And so, but the drones itself, they're fully autonomous. So once the address is kind of populated on the app, they're able to, pick up the address and things like that. But as far as on-site maintenance, I believe that's like a bi-weekly type of schedule. But overall operations, we're stationed in
So the
Capel,
drones are
Texas.
all autonomous?
All autonomous, yes, sir.
This is not something we've considered, because now I'm thinking flight paths, how high do they fly?
So our sweet spot is about 150 to 200 feet in the air. And then once the drone gets to the customer's home, and this is specific to single-family residences, so they're able to, I guess, select their designated delivery area, whether it be in their front or backyard. So once the drone gets to the customer's home, it'll hover at about 25 feet in the air. It wouldn't go down. And there's a pill that comes from the belly of the drone that the hex tote, the package is attached to, and that'll be gently placed again in the designated drop-off area, and the customer is able to come out and get it. But they're never in contact with the drone itself.
Is there any, because I'm sorry, I keep asking, it's just they keep rolling. Is there any consideration for the flight community right down here? And how do you?
Yes, so we have our airspace management team. They'll come in prior to our site setup and do like a full analysis of the existing airspace. We do not fly over large bodies of water, schools, prisons, and we do have like airspace deconfliction set up with the existing airport. Or that will be set up prior to launching.
I was at the presentation, so it's only 2.5 pounds?
The
weight?
payload of what the drone can carry. So the
Yeah.
drone itself is like 11.5
And
pounds
it's a 5-mile radius, right?
6 mile.
From 6 mile from Walmart?
From the Walmart.
So I guess 3 out and 3 back, right?
So like 12 in total. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So the total payload is only 2.5 pounds?
Yeah.
So a gallon of milk is probably not, I think there's
Not a gallon, a half a gallon.
half a gallon.
But you mentioned in the future that it may go up to a
So we do have a larger drone. That drone is about 17.2-ish pounds, and the payload for that is a little over 5 pounds.
Yeah, nothing over 5 pounds probably for a while.
Yeah, but at this particular site, I believe it'll just be specific to the 11.5 pound drone.
I've already asked this and gotten an answer from Austin, but just for the record, there are no sort of recording capabilities on these drones, correct?
No, ma'am. So the I guess camera footage on the drone is strictly for detection, and then again the images that it does provide, they're very like grainy. We kind of compare it to that of like the flip phones back in the day.
Okay.
They're not spy drones at all.
Got it. Right.
You don't record it for
No recording, no volume or anything like that.
teaching or for AI? Or
No, sir. Mm-mm. Just for deliveries.
Any other questions for the applicant?
How many drones are, yes,
Go ahead, yeah.
how many drones are actually coming to our Walmart to go in that space?
This is a 12 pad.
It's a
12
12-pad
Mhm.
site.
Is there hours of operation? Like just when the store's open, that's when the drone?
So yeah, we typically try to mirror the store, so our hours of operation would kind of mirror that. We do have approval through the FAA to fly at night to up to about 10 p.m. But again, our overall operations will kind of be mirrored with the Walmart store.
I know you said a 12 pad right now. Is that something that would expand in the future? Would more be coming in if the program
So
goes
our
well here, or?
Our max is 18 pads,
Okay.
but I think once we're set up at a site, it should remain. So this will likely remain a 12 pad.
Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
And this might be an odd question. This region I live right at 3.5 miles from Walmart.
You're out.
So I could get a hailstorm in my neighborhood and it could be sunshine over Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
And if the drone takes off and it's sunshine and goes that way, does it turn around and go home if it detects a storm? Or does it fly right through it?
So the drones are capable of flying in, I guess, inclement weather, not hail. I wouldn't say that, but as far as like rain or cloudiness, I mean but again, we do assessments prior to each operating day. So if there is weather reported, then obviously we would shut down all operations during, I guess, that time of severe weather. But we can fly in inclement weather conditions.
I would like to say there's also gonna be a person in the actual fenced area for most of the time that's gonna be checking on the drones, checking on equipment, and have to do pre-flight because they have to have a commercial license. It is a commercial FAA license.
So there is somebody on site.
Yes.
There's a person on site just doing maintenance. They do not fly the drones.
There are ground support, so.
Mhm.
I have a question, and this is more curiosity. Obviously, you're using the parking lot, but there's a large, vast, flat area available on the roof of that Walmart. Why not use that so that you don't use parking spaces?
So we are in the process of, honestly, we haven't been successfully able to do operations quite yet on a rooftop. We are exploring that at other locations, not within Mississippi per se, but that's kind of, I guess, in the preliminary phases because we have had interest of the nest being on the rooftop.
I mean, that seemed like the most obvious
Yeah,
place to put it.
yeah. Operationally, it's I guess a bigger battle.
Why is it? Why do you have to?
I guess with getting up to the rooftop with the packages, figuring out that process. Again, some jurisdictions require fencing, and then also some buildings aren't, I guess, conducive enough to the weight that could be added to the top of the building. So, from a code compliance standpoint.
So as it pertains to getting the packages from the store to the drone, does that mean like an employee is coming?
Yes. Yeah.
Just all day,
A-
back and forth through the parking lot?
So yeah, a Walmart employee, they'll be packaging the customer orders, and then once the orders are packaged, they will walk out and deliver those orders to the ground support, who will get it attached to the drone.
Is this like a add-on to the existing, what is it called, click list? What is it, where you?
Like DoorDash?
Not DoorDash, but like
Walmart
I
Plus.
can order,
Walmart
but then I go to
delivery.
Walmart and I park and I call the little number and they bring it out to me?
So yes, it's essentially. So you're saying like customer on-site pickup or
Right, like I can use the app, make an order, and then do store pickup, and then I get in the car and go get it, but I don't have to get out of the car, I just pull into a spot.
Yeah, so initially
Is that the
everything
same?
will be done via the Wing app once we first launch, but then it'll eventually roll over to be a part of.
So that's operationally, it's gonna be that part of our Walmart's
So
operation, right? That same
Yes,
crew
sir.
of people will be,
essentially, yes. And then Walmart Plus customers, they're able to utilize it without any additional cost.
okay.
Guess the Jetsons were right.
How, I mean, if this is gonna be, I mean, y'all envision this being I mean, it's not a temporary.
No, sir.
This is intended to be a permanent location in this parking lot where y'all are gonna put these. Is it gonna be reinforced with anything other than this fence? And what about putting some plantings around it, doing something so it doesn't just look like this brown sheet standing out in the middle of?
So additional landscaping or, I mean, at other jurisdictions, that has been something that has been a requirement. I don't know if that's been in conversations prior to our meeting today with the city of Hernando, but if landscaping is something that, you all would prefer. But again, we do offer the ornamental fence for this site with the mesh surrounding, I guess, privacy screen surrounding. So that's kind of like our upgrade of making things more private or aesthetically pleasing.
Ornamental's probably a kind word.
It is.
If what I'm looking is correct.
It's a big caution paint on the parking lot, throws you off.
I think it would be a look over. I just, if this is gonna be a permanent structure in the parking lot, I think there needs to be something other than just a brown ornamental fence that's just kind of solid.
And I think
Semi-solid.
also for this site, we are, as was mentioned, we're doing the kiosk at this site, and we're doing some kind of customization.
So the kiosk is actually gonna match the store color as well, so it kind of blends into the background as well. When I was driving in up here today, I noticed that almost every building was that deep burgundy purple or deep burgundy color for the brick. The kiosk is also gonna match that same color. So it's not gonna be an eyesore when you're going past it, it's gonna match the surrounding area.
Well, aside of the ornamental fencing and matching the building, for somebody that doesn't know what that is coming into the parking lot, it looks like there's some kind of secret operation going on in the corner of the parking lot. This big black fence, drones flying in and out of the fence, going, what the heck's going on over there? So is there any signage or any advertising to say who Wing is, or is Walmart and Wing partnering by saying our new drone service with a sign on it, and this is just to let the general Walmart customers know what's going on in the parking lot?
No, I wouldn't say no additional signage, but prior to launching our policy team, they do partner with, well, we do like to partner with jurisdictions and local, I guess, schools and communities to bring awareness to the new technology that is coming. So outreach on that behalf will be done, but not, I guess, specific signage, additional signage out there at the nest. And personally, I will say that without the mesh surrounding the fencing, it blends in, like, it kind of blends in more. Honestly, a lot of people miss it in the parking lot. I think that the mesh makes it stand out more, in my opinion. Yeah.
Folks will notice that right away. How loud are these drones?
So our decibel, well, the drone itself is kind of mirrored to match just normal community sound. So when it's at its highest of 100 to 200 feet in the air, the decibel level is about 62. But once it drops down to the hovering of about 20 feet, the decibel level reaches an average of like 43 decibels. So they're not very loud. Correct. It'll be at that like 60 during takeoff. But no, they're not very loud at all. Honestly, we compare it to like an idling pickup truck in the community.
Do you know
Or the AC started.
Do you know what the distance between the parking on, I guess, the west side of the ornamental fencing is? Because it looks like that's closer than the east side of it, if I'm looking at it right.
The fencing comparing to the storefront or the outside drive?
I think he's comparing the outside drive. Is what he's talking
The
about.
outside lane, you talking about?
Like the drive aisle widths or the end cap?
Yeah, I'm talking about right here.
I think it's gonna mirror the end cap of the spaces, and so the drive aisle widths wouldn't be allowed to be reduced at all, so they'd
Correct.
basically be in line with the parking spaces.
Yeah, that's that lane versus that lane, I guess. Just a wider lane.
I think that drive aisle is wider.
So there is the drive lanes, if you have a double, they're wider than the singles.
Oh, so I guess it's a double on the east side and a
Yes.
single on.
So if it goes into the storefront, if you have the two angles like this, it's only a single.
see, I
If
see.
it goes opposite of each other, it's a double
Come
lane.
this way, this way, this way, this way.
people go whichever way they want.
Right.
These are one ways, those are two.
I was just worried, I guess my concern about that would be if someone was backing out, since it's so close, maybe they would hit the fence or something like that.
Yeah, so the fence is inside of that striping. The edge of the striping is the same width as the actual aisle. So most of the time, it's an 18-foot depth to an 18-foot depth, so it's a total of 36, I believe, for the full width, but the fence is actually 30 feet.
Okay.
And I will say to that point, I looked up when Walmarts are the most busy, and it's actually between 2 and 4 on the weekend. So I went and parked my car at 3:30, and I just watched, and not one vehicle parked there or in the 2 lanes on either side of it. So that was good for me to see, just to kind of know,
So-
like, are we really losing what the community is using?
I just spent the day before Thanksgiving, maybe.
Yeah, but we're talking about one day.
Or the onslaught of a Armageddon snowstorm coming.
That's true.
That's it.
But now people can just drone those supplies
That's
to their
right.
house.
It's gonna take a lot of trips to get 2.5
That's
pounds
true.
that
That's
way.
true.
Toilet paper doesn't weigh that much.
COVID happens again, I guess we're set then.
Yeah.
The battery energy storage system, is that like a generator?
So we don't like using a generator on that sense because it has no fuel. So it actually is just a battery. So if you have your portable battery for your phone, that's essentially what it is. You put the battery on wheels, it looks like a generator, but it actually doesn't sound like a generator. It's just a battery system to supply to drone
That's what you were
control.
saying earlier, every couple of days, they come and swap it out.
Correct, it's every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks, it's averaging about 2 weeks, they'll come in, they'll pick up the whole entire package, and then
So
reinsert a
essentially,
new
it's a
one.
dead battery,
Yeah,
they replace a fresh battery, take that one and go recharge it.
correct.
Got it.
And that's not visible.
That's inside the
That's
fenced
inside.
area, yeah. So everything that's for the drone operations is inside the fence, in the screen fence.
So logistically, managing that piece of equipment, is that contracted with another local company that would come and get it and recharge it, or is that, do you haul that all the way back to Texas?
That is a Walmart question, that is not on
Oh,
the
that's
design.
Walmart manages that?
Yeah, that's a Walmart
I
contract.
think somebody said it was
Sunbelt.
Most of the
Sunbelt
time,
rules.
I think the spec that I actually put on there was a Sunbelt, that's one of the one we were provided with.
Going back to the question of security, in the other locations where this is already operating, have there been any sort of like thefts or any sort of security threats?
No, ma'am.
Because there's a bunch of batteries and drones sitting there?
No.
Okay.
Today,
Most of
no.
the time, they're actually curious. So there's some entities where they actually watch for the first initial weeks, they'll watch it go up and actually go through it. When we actually launched in the Houston area, we did a couple of launch parties that were happening at different store locations. And it was really neat to actually see it. And going back to the sound decibel with the 65, just think of it like a lawnmower. A flying lawnmower when you get up to that high, but then you're just realizing where did it go because you can't see it at 150 to 200 feet above. And then it flies, I think on average it's 65 miles an hour to a location that can go up to 65 miles an hour.
Speaking of launch date, where is the estimated launch date for this?
It depends on if we get approved.
Best case scenario.
So as far as site setup, it's an average of 5 days. So once we get the permit,
You're gonna build a building in 5 days? Did you say there was a brick building going on there or something like that?
It's a storage kiosk. It's a shed. It's a
Right, pretty
It's
fast.
the same.
Okay.
It's gonna match the same color and the texture as the brick.
I don't know, building sounds better than storage kiosk. Doing ornamental fences.
Any other comments or questions for the applicant?
I mean, I just don't think that I don't have an issue with it. No, I think I'm all for it. I just don't think that's a fence that we would approve in the design, in Hernando for someone else, for somewhere else. So, I mean, with that fence design, without something that, to be there the way it looks, I'm not for it on that basis, but I'm for the concept of doing it otherwise.
Do we have that material in our design?
It's supposed to be wrought iron to match our design. The screen behind it, I think, kind of deceives the picture a bit because you can't really see it. But the first proposal was vinyl coated chain link, and we informed them that wasn't allowed. So that's where the ornamental wrought iron came from.
I don't think you'll be able to see any ornamental wall iron, will you?
If the screen's on the inside, like the drone side, the ornamental iron will be on the outside. I think we'll be able to see it. It's just in the picture. I think it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's like getting dark.
I think it'll be like the tennis courts. The tennis courts, they have one of those screens, right? On Commerce, the tennis courts.
The mesh
In front of
screen.
the chain link?
But that's a
Yeah.
chain link,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, do they?
I don't think it's as opaque as this one.
Yeah, this will be wrought iron bars, and then the screen behind it would be like you see, I think actually this Walmart, their garden center has it. It's the wrought iron out front, and then the screening is behind it in the garden center. Tractor Supply, I think, did something similar.
But just following up on Commissioner George's concern, it's not about this, well, this tech, I wanna go to the launch party. But if we approve a ornamental black fence with meshing in the middle of a parking lot, what does that say with a kiosk inside? What does that say about another company? Hey, I wanna put this in my parking lot with a shed, and I wanna put this fence around it. And then we've got these little storage shed facilities scattered around the county or around the city. So how do we get this in place that it looks, to your point? Do we ask for some type of, well, because looks like a landscaping island is gonna be taken out.
As of now, the landscape and island is staying.
It would be splitting the.
It will, the pads will actually be splitting the landscape island.
Oh, okay. So part of that'll be inside the,
Mhm.
okay.
Let's find a way to make it work. Let's just find a way to make it work better. That's what I say,
Visually?
visually.
I mean, if you could just put a very similar landscaping,
Landscape around it.
like,
I mean,
like
do
where the
some
yellow,
plantings
where the
around
yellow
it.
caution lines are around it?
Yeah, the yellow caution lines would have to be white if just.
Right.
The striping is going to match the exact same as the parking lot as is.
But you're saying just maybe hedgerow around.
Hedgerow,
Hedgerow
or put
around.
some concrete planters along the edge to where,
That would have to be up with, that would have to have a big discussion between Walmart and Wing to go further with putting a landscaping around it. I don't know personally, on none of the sites that I've personally worked on, we have had to do landscape around the fences, but that's not to say somewhere in another market has done it. So that's
She
something.
mentioned something.
Yeah, no, so with, we do have other partners, and so with another partner, we have had to add some additional landscaping, but again, obviously, we would need your preference on what you guys prefer to see out there.
You don't have any examples of that?
I don't have any examples to share, no, sir.
The city has a list of, landscaping elements and what we approve and what we don't approve.
Mhm.
And that's not to say it's limited to that.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm open to other things, but the city does have already some, a list of landscaping. People prefer.
is that
Yeah.
also these other markets that you said did ask for landscaping? Was that a collaboration between Wing and Walmart on who's gonna maintain the landscaping? Or is that something Wing takes on as part of the person that's on duty at the station that they gotta go water the plants or?
So with our other partners, it's more so a collaboration between Wing and the landlord. So, no, because it's not at Walmart sites.
Talking about other
The other
vendors.
place, yeah.
Any other comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone in support or against this item, please come forward and state your name and address. All right, is there a motion to approve?
Do you want to say something?
Is there a motion to approve, deny, or table this item?
If you have any recommendations, just be as specific as possible. That way, if they don't agree, they can come
I
back
mean,
and appeal.
do we want to table it? I don't want to set it back. I mean, I do want to see it go forward. Or we can just put, we could make a motion to approve it with a landscape buffer around it. I don't know. I mean, is that in conformance with City of Hernando requirements in the design ordinances. Is that-
Yeah, I mean, we can, if you just wanna say either way, you can either table it and come back with a proposal, or you can say.
I'd love to see some of the examples she showed, but I understand, because I don't wanna limit it necessarily to what Hernando, to our design ordinances. I mean, I'm open to other ideas.
So like if it's a hedgerow against a parking aisle, typically would require a 36-inch planting every 3 or 4 feet is what it is. And so if they just surrounded it other than the gates with something like that, that's what would technically meet, if you're judging this as the end of a parking row. And that may break it
I
up.
think that'd be fine.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
It just would make it more aesthetically pleasing, not just a
Yeah, I agree.
brown
Yeah, I would just
sheet.
add that instead of tabling, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
because that way it would just come back to you, right, Austin?
It would.
Yeah.
And they have the right to appeal
Yeah.
either way, so, and I can explain that too, we get down that road. But if you wanna make that motion, just to get them going forward with something that you're okay with.
Yeah,
that might
that's
be-
fine. Well, would y'all prefer that or the table? I mean, I'm assuming you prefer approval with that. Okay,
I think we would prefer that.
okay.
You gonna make it, Jordan?
All right, I'll make it, I'll make a motion to approve a variance request by Duplantis Design Group representing the owner to allow a reduction in the required number of spaces as shown on the attached exhibits. The subject property is located at 2600 McIngvale Road, located on the east side of McIngvale, south of Commerce Street, pursuant to findings A, B, C, and D, with the caveat that the approval is conditioned upon a landscape buffer it provided in conformance with City of Hernando design standards. Fair? Does that work? All right.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Thorne?
Aye.
Commissioner Jordan?
Aye.
Commissioner Art?
Aye.
Commissioner Max?
Aye.
Commissioner Mashaw?
Aye.
Motion to approve this item passes with the conditions that they mentioned. All right, our next item is PL 1978, Delta Landing Subdivision Residential Phase 4. Request for a final plat approval of 24 lots on 3.88 acres. The subject property is located on the west side of McIngvale Road, south of Pleasant Hill Road. The property is currently zoned PUD. Nick Krugen, representing owner. Mr. Condoza, present the staff plan and report and comments.
Yes, sir. The next 3 applications are requests for final plat approvals for Delta Landing Subdivision, and they've requested them individually so that they can time the recording of each plat at a separate time. So there are 3 separate requests tonight. The first of which is 1978 for Phase 4. Nick Kruenen's here tonight representing the McBride family as the developers. This request is 3.88 acres to be split into 24 lots on the age-restricted portion of the subdivision. This is the same bulk requirements and restrictive covenants that were presented during the PUD. The proposed motion is listed in your staff report along with the final plat that you see of the 24 lots. And I've kind of highlighted on the overview plan of where this is located. So this is immediately behind the commercial portion as you enter the subdivision. And I've prepared a proposed motion that includes all of our standard conditions of approval as seen with the previous phases. And I'm available if you got any questions.
Any question for Mr. Condoza? Will the applicant please come forward and state your name and address in its entirety?
Nicholas Kruenen, address 3629 College Road, South Haven, Mississippi. I don't have anything else to add. If you have any questions, let me know.
Any question for the applicant?
Yeah, Nick, was this plat, is this just kind of a slice of that little part of the,
Yes, it's just the next little section of the 55 and older.
oh, it's the next one over, okay, I see now.
Yep. So that, the whole cluster of houses that are right behind the commercials, the 55 and older, and the first phase, we recorded a piece of it. Now we're recording another little piece.
Any other questions for that? Thank you. Anyone in support against this item, please come forward and state your name and address. Is there a motion to approve, deny, or table this item?
I'll make a motion to grant final approval, final plat approval, Delta Landing Phase 4 residential subdivision consisting of 24 lots on 3.88 acres southwest of McIngvale Road and south of Pleasant Hill in Section 31, Township Southwest, Township 2 South, Range 7, based upon the finding that the submitted final plat generally conforms to the requirements of the city's codes and ordinances, subject to the following conditions 1 through 10.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Thorne,
Aye.
Commissioner Jordan,
Aye.
Commissioner Ard,
Aye.
Commissioner Mack,
Aye.
Commissioner Mashall.
Aye.
Motion to approve this item passes. The next item, PL 1979. Great year, you graduated from high school. But anyway, Delta Landing Commercial Subdivision Phase 5, request for a final plat approval of 47 lots on 11.95 acres. The subject property is located on the west side of McIngvale Road, south of Pleasant Hill Road. The property is currently zoned PUD. Nick Krugen, representing the owner. Mr. Cardozo?
Yes, sir. This is the next phase, phase 5 of the residential portion of Delta Landing Subdivision. This is 47 lots and 11.95 acres on the single-family residential. Again, this is within the PUD district, so that PUD zoning served as the preliminary plat. So this does match the original approval of that PUD, and the restrictive covenants and bulk requirements, again, are the same. Failed to mention it last time, but tonight's recommendation will go next Tuesday, July 21st, the Board of Alderman meeting. And you can see there's a bit of floodplain included on the map of this one, but the property has been raised, and a letter of map revisions being submitted to FEMA to remove this from the boundary completely. And again, on the development map, you can see we're about midway through the residential portion, approaching the middle neighborhood park. And this is 47 lots, 11.95 acres, and it's the same standard conditions as the last application, and the proposed motion is listed in your staff report, and I'm available if you got any questions.
Mr. Appleton.
Nicholas Kruenen, address 3629 College Road, South Haven, Mississippi. Only comment I will make is also is a typo on the commercial subdivision phase 5. It should be residential. I think it was a typo on our part, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, that's on the agenda. I don't know. Yeah, you're right, though. This is the residential portion, to be clear.
Yeah, this should be, this item and the next item should be residential subdivision phase 5 and
Staff
6.
report's correct, it's just wrong on the agenda.
Any questions for the applicant? Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Is there a motion to approve the down table this item?
Make a motion to grant final plat approval, Delta Landing Phase 5 residential subdivision consisting of 47 lots and 11.95 acres west of McIngvale Road and south of Pleasant Hill in Section 31, Township 2 South, Range 7, based upon a finding that the submitted final plat generally conforms to the requirements of the city's codes and ordinances, subject to conditions 1 through 10.
Yes.
Commissioner Thorne,
Aye.
Commissioner Jordan,
Aye.
Commissioner Ard,
Aye.
Commissioner Mack,
Aye.
Commissioner Mashall.
Motion to approve this item passes. The next item is PL 1980, Delta Landing Residential Subdivision Phase 6. Request for a final plat approval of 22 lots on 4.74 acres. The subject property is located on the west side of McIngvale Road, south of Pleasant Hill Road. The property is currently zoned PUD. Nick Krugen, representing the owner. Mr. Cardozo?
Yes, sir. This is phase 6 of the residential subdivision. The current request here is 22 lots on 4.74 acres, and this is on the townhome portion on the southern end of the PUD. Again, this is the same approval that came through the original PUD, and that served as a preliminary plat. And so what you see tonight does substantially conform, and the restrictive covenants are listed in your standard approval criteria. The plat runs along Bolivar Drive, and there's a large portion of common open space in the rear of it, which eventually will hold the walking path that goes along the creek. And it's important to note, each of these townhomes are individual ownership, so those are individual small lots that you see going along Bolivar Drive. And I've highlighted a portion on the PUD where this is located, so we're roughly halfway done with the townhome portion of this PUD. Nick Kruenen, again, is here tonight representing this application, and I'm available if you got any questions.
All right.
Nicholas Kruenen, address 3629 College Road. Nothing else to add.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Is there a motion to approve, deny, or table this item?
I'll make a motion to grant final plat approval to Delta Landing Phase 6 residential subdivision consisting of 22 lots of 4.74 acres west of McIngvale Road and south of Pleasant Hill in Section 31, Township 2 South, Range 7, based upon a finding that the submitted final plat generally conforms to the requirements of the city's codes and ordinances, subject to conditions 1 through 10.
Second.
Commissioner Thorn,
Aye.
Commissioner Jordan,
Aye.
Commissioner Art,
Aye.
Commissioner Mack,
Aye.
Commissioner Mashaw.
Motion to approve this item passes. The final item on the agenda is the discussion of the downtown design overlay.
Yes, sir. This was an idea born out of the ordinance committee. I know over the past few months, we've considered lots of ordinance changes, and so this one has had the most set of eyes on it, I'd say, by the time it's got here tonight. But I'll get into the weeds of kind of what we're talking about, but generally, the idea from the ordinance committee was to define a boundary of what downtown Hernando is and set a design requirement where the buildings have to be fronted to the street. And so everyone's familiar with the square and how it's developed and how it's radiated out from the square. The idea would be to grow that and to grow it in a similar fashion so it doesn't feel piecemealed, and it really does grow our downtown in a pedestrian way and in a way that I think everyone expects downtown too. So the hard part of this was to define the boundary. So that's the third map in your staff report here. And so we sat down with the ordinance committee and we took what is the Main Street district from the Chamber of Commerce and refined that to what we thought everyone's idea of downtown Hernando is. So as you come down Commerce and cross the railroad tracks, or as you enter downtown Highway 51, you cross Robinson, or you come north on 51 and you cross Oak Grove Road, is what we came up with of being the idea of what downtown or the core of Hernando is. And so the ordinance change is proposed if you build a new building within that boundary or tear a building down and rebuild a building in that boundary, that you would be required to front the building to the property frontage. So just like downtown Hernando, all the buildings were at the sidewalk. This would require buildings to be built to the sidewalk and encouraged to be built to the side. The idea would be, one, aesthetically, it would look a lot like downtown, it would help it grow. And then the other part of it would be to create walkability and create a better way to walk around throughout downtown. The chart that you see in there is typically in our zoning districts, we have required setbacks. So like in C2, C3, all the commercial districts, we require people to build 20 foot back. This is kind of the opposite thinking of that. If you're within this boundary, this overlay would require you to build 2. So you have a building setback maximum versus minimum, which is a large change. And I want to make sure that we're very clear this would be a pretty significant change within this boundary. Also, you guys know we've eliminated the parking minimum within the C3 district. So if downtown buildings are redeveloped, there is no actual parking minimum because it's not possible to comply. This would expand that parking minimum to anywhere within the district because it's within the overlay. There were some discussions on some additional design requirements to help look historic buildings, but that was kind of pulled back just because it was not a really good way to do it, to be honest with you. We have pretty strict design regulations anyway, and anything within the historic district has that additional layer already, so that was kind of, that was not voted to come forward. The only building kind of dimension requirement would be the building has to be 20 feet tall to help match what downtown Hernando has, with either has a second story or the appearance of a second story. So it went to the ordinance committee and we bounced it around for almost 2 months to get to this codified language. And I did go to the Chamber of Commerce Executive Committee and just pitch the idea to them because they are the ones that are going to be paying for this in reality. And it was very well received. The executive committee liked the idea of growing downtown from the inside out rather than the outside in. This would probably not prohibit, but discourage big boxes and larger brands that have these national models. So I think it would help spur a bit more small business within our downtown area. But the 1,000-foot view of this, what this is going to require is people build the buildings to the street within this boundary. That's the big change. And the ordinance committee voted to bring it to you tonight, and then I plan to take y'all's recommendation or changes or anything to the full board for consideration. So I just want to open it up for discussion.
This only applies to commercial buildings.
Only commercial, yes, sir.
Because there's a lot of residential neighborhoods in this.
Yes, sir, only commercial.
So this is the new downtown border.
It's, what that boundary is we took the Main Street district and shrunk it to some visual cues of, one, you cross the railroad tracks and the road physically narrows, Commerce narrows, and the tree canopy starts. And then the same thing with Robinson, you come south on 51, and once you cross the intersection, the built environment just changes. Everything scoots to the street, and then as you come northbound is where the roundabout is. And to be transparent, that's going to be the struggle with the enforcement, is that stretch of 51. Because the gas station, there are a few empty lots, and if we applied the ordinance in totality to something, it's gonna look odd for a minute until it all fills in, but someone's gonna be building to the street there.
Well, there's a couple new buildings that's been right in that area too. There's the new strip mall, the new gas station, the new one where Primo's is at.
Right.
There's quite a few new construction right there. That's off.
I think you're right. And so, I mean, the consideration of the boundary, and none of this is concrete, so I want to take all the recommendations from the board or staff or anyone to the full board for consideration. If you think the boundary needs to be revised of where this would apply, or if this doesn't need to apply at all, I do want to take everything to them.
How does it apply to existing structures that are long overdue of renovation?
Our non-conforming clause, we do have a section in the ordinance about non-conformity, so if it burns down, you rebuild it, of course, you have to come into conformance. Or if your upgrades exceed half of the value of the structure, then you have to make some accommodations to come into conformance. A lot of the buildings in downtown Hernando already built really close to the street, like City Hall Cheesecake. Most of the law offices would technically already conform because they're already scooted to the street. That's the idea of what we're trying to replicate, is everyone pulling their buildings to the street and creating walking paths or a pedestrian zone where you can walk.
So you're talking about that area between Oak Grove
The Kilgores.
and yeah.
That was a struggle in defining the district, but there's Hill Street, which is halfway to the block, or to the roundabout, which is more of a clearly defined boundary of where the district is.
Could you remove that area from Oak Grove just on 51?
Yeah, absolutely. We can revise this boundary however you see fit.
I'm just curious, because you said something about it looking weird, and I kind of agree, like the whole sidewalk thing, like when you see a sidewalk in the middle of nowhere where the sidewalk's never going to meet it, that sidewalk in front of the storage building on 51?
Yeah, I mean,
There's never going to be a connection to that sidewalk.
the alternative to that is if we didn't build the sidewalk, it would never exist. And so it's gotta start somewhere, and I think it always is going to look weird the first person that comes into conformance. Now, whether the boundary is Oak Grove Road, I think it is gonna be, you want buildings all the way to the street at that portion of Oak Grove and 51. I think that's pretty fair.
You do want them?
No, I think that's the question we need to answer.
Because there's already a lot of buildings there, I don't know where else unless they're gonna put something in front of the basketball court.
Get some, that lot between the, was it the car wash and the gas station?
Mhm.
Isn't that townhome that got approved a couple years ago? Carmen direction, right? North of Kilgore's, that drop off, they were
Yep.
gonna go, was that still planned on going in there?
I don't know if there's any activity. It's still zoned to support it,
I
and
think
that,
it's for sale right now.
I think so. I think you're right. Those buildings are scooted to the street. Those townhomes
Yeah.
front the street, the parking's behind.
That's before we put a time period on our
Mhm.
PUD approvals, right?
Yeah,
We started doing that.
the PUD approvals, since it is a zoning change, it can't just go back. Like, the board does have to take action, so our rules now say, I think it's 2 years of inactivity, the board may consider the reconsideration.
I think the reason for that going all the way to the street was due to the size. I don't think it had anything to do with aesthetics, right? Because I was there when
Probably
that got
the,
approved.
It was the
probably the,
elevation.
probably the elevation.
Oh, the
Yeah.
topography's bad, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think being close to downtown Hernando, they did want to scoot it to the street to kind of, but honestly, kind of answer a lot of the questions we're talking about right now is, like the hardware store on Commerce Street sits way back off the road, the parking lot's in the front. I think it would change downtown if that building was on the street and the parking was behind.
Well, that's part of the future planning where that whole area there by the post office, everything was designed to be going to more of a community walking kind of thing.
Mhm.
But how do you do that? I mean, how do you,
It just takes
you don't
time.
shut all those businesses down and
You don't.
let out the parking lot and start over?
I mean, when you start asking questions like this, you're thinking way long-term, and so like, you're like a mass redevelopment of that site. Or if the shopping center of La Siesta, if there ever is a massive redevelopment, or God forbid a natural disaster, a fire or something like that, the rebuild of it is the important part.
Same thing where like the flower shop is and stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of this, I mean, except for 51 in Commerce, it's pretty much all residential. So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily apply, except for those, I mean, those are the corridors you have to think about. I mean,
Mhm.
with some exceptions. I
You
almost
get
think you should
some-
go further north on 51, frankly, but.
We thought about that, cause the Main Street district follows the railroad track and encompasses Oak Tree. And as you approach Oak Tree, kind of the same thought process of southbound towards Oak Grove starts to happen. Like where 51 becomes more of a highway. And I think I always forget that it's rare to have a state highway go right through your town square like we have here too. So we do deal with that with MDOT. Mhm.
And yeah, MDOT may reject, I mean, that's an issue we've got too, because they have requirements on buffers from the road too.
You're right. I
They
mean,
could put us in a catch-22 in some sense.
they don't allow sidewalks in the right of way. So every sidewalk you see within the district either has gotten a waiver or it's outside of the right of way, which is why like the sidewalk on the Entergy building on 51 sits so far off the road, or the gas station at Oak Grove. So it's way off the road.
I don't know, is there because there's other, like that section from the viaduct up to north going to Parkway, that stretch where there's just, the new gas station, it's just kind of the Dollar General, I think it's right there, it's just kind of, some are way back, some are closer, it's kind of a mixed match of construction. Is there a way to maybe not extend downtown up the Parkway, and maybe I'm overthinking it, but like an outer town that it phases from downtown, it phases out? So you're talking about, it could be 20 years before something like that gets reconstructed, but at least we're planning now that as you rebuild, you're rebuilding from the center out, and then and then phase it out. So that little stretch north 51 there, we're
You're talking about the Parkway?
up to, is it Parkway Manor? What is that road right there? Where that new
North
gas
Parkway.
station is?
North Parkway.
North Parkway. The viaduct and North Park, that little stretch right there.
I think we just have to rely on our design standards there. That gets a little further away from,
Yeah.
obviously, convenience store made it in.
I think the idea, the ordinance committee's eyes were kind of on the core of downtown and just trying to protect the front setback of what we've got downtown and even grow it. Center Street was a big consideration because there's lots of parcels that could be redeveloped or developed on Center Street. There's a few on Commerce and there's a few on 51, but and this ordinance change is a very long-term thought process. We don't get much, honestly, in this district for construction, but the idea would be if we do, it's gonna be done the right way to scoot it up.
I just wouldn't want to doom if something were to happen to the hardware store, doom them from being able to rebuild or,
Yeah.
'cause I was there this morning. It's an
Yeah.
asset.
And I did mention to the board, I was like, there is the option for variance, like in something like that, where it's
Yeah.
been there for 100 years, that could be rebuilt, but
If
this,
that's the case, yeah, that's true. I would be more open to it if that fall.
I think one of the downtown redevelopment plans I saw was putting a building in front of the hardware store and sharing the parking lot.
Hmm.
And that's possible because it doesn't utilize the entire parking lot.
Like there's an ATM out front that's
Yeah.
utilized as part of it.
Would that require the same variance we gave tonight to Walmart and Wing, based on their square footage?
I don't know. I'll have to
Probably
count
not,
them.
because it's shared parking with both.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
There's
it's-
separate
Oh, well,
buildings.
and is it in the district that doesn't require the parking?
that's a good point. Yeah, that would
Answered
be.
my own question.
Yeah.
Good work.
Thanks.
It's all one building, but it's 3 different owners.
Mhm. So any feedback, if y'all wanna talk about it, I'm here, I'm all ears, anything.
Good discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine.
Well, I'm just looking at the boundaries.
Something
I mean,
that's gonna be few and far
I-
between in years and years.
I don't
I
dislike the
understand.
boundaries, it's just mostly residential. I mean, Keith, you've got, some property down there, I know off Oak Road and stuff, but I mean, I guess that's all residential zone,
It's agriculture right now.
agricultural.
So the question is, if somebody wanted to do something commercial on that corner, that would be in this, although it's on Oak Grove and not on 51?
Not
If
on the
you're south of
side.
Oak Grove, it would be out of it.
Gotcha.
We can add his lot in.
So a closer look at the boundaries is something you wanna consider. And then the residential versus commercial.
I mean, I mean, obviously, it needs to say commercial, but that's. It would've looked nice to have that building on north of Robinson, that just went in, Robinson 51, follow this plan too. But, I mean, it's still a nice looking building.
Okay, did y'all wanna make a motion with any considerations to bring to the board? Just,
You gonna take it to the board next meeting?
I plan to.
Okay.
Have a motion you all wanna,
Do you wanna add something to it?
I mean, the only thing I would say is if you wanna go north all the way to like Oak Tree Drive or to Northwood Hills, or maybe the railroad tracks, I don't know. But I don't, I've kinda, I see the good and the bad in both of it, honestly. Kinda at some point we have to rely on our design standards to do the work. That's not really necessarily the walkable district that I
Right.
think that was intended for this. So I think I'm with those.
Yeah, you make a point. You get up to Oak Tree, that's not necessarily
Yeah.
considered walkable at that point.
You don't wanna discourage development because of,
Right.
it's got this got too much for the water requirement.
Well, that opens up the other comment you made earlier. You know, we get these national brands with their cookie cutter box buildings, and they wanna put one up there near a tree, then that falls right outside the standard.
That's fair. That's a good point.
So how, like a Chick-fil-A or a Starbucks, you know, just like a Trustmark, another one of these, this is our national design standard.
Either, it would still have to be brick and landscaped and everything like we require. This would just require them to scoot that building to the street.
And 20 feet high.
And 20 feet high.
Well, the more we talk about it, I'm leaning towards extending it up to Oak Tree.
Extending it to the railroad crossing up at you.
Second. I like, I mean, we can grant a variance if we need to.
Yeah, cause there is some empty lot there, and then I think one of those houses is for sale, that's for potential commercial too, right there.
Well, if we look at 51 in Robinson, the northwest corner is outside of that, and that's where the new Poplar, what is it, Little Caesars just went in.
Yeah,
So I consider that downtown,
yeah.
that little corner in that little area.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that building would look nice if it was butted up against the corner.
Yeah.
Not that it doesn't look nice now, I
No,
don't mean that by
yeah,
any
I mean,
means.
it was put together nice, but I consider that downtown, right there.
Do we still have the little signs that say downtown Hernando?
So we met last week on the wayfinding signs. They're gonna be installed in the next month or so. And actually, one of the signs at the railroad tracks on Commerce says downtown. That's all it says, is vertically downtown.
You wanna make a motion, Kim?
Yeah, sure. I make a motion to recommend going back to the board by extending the downtown north border, north of Robinson Street, Oak Tree. I don't even know what that would sound like. I don't know west, what that border against. Timber Lane, maybe? All the way over?
Yeah, and then the Paris Code, it's all residential, so it wouldn't really apply.
Yeah, it
but
wouldn't apply.
Define a boundary.
North to Oak Tree and then east to the railroad tracks.
East to the railroad tracks,
Huh?
east to the railroad.
Yeah.
Second.
Commissioner Thorne,
Aye.
Commissioner Jordan,
Aye.
Commissioner Art,
Aye.
Commissioner Mack,
Aye.
Commissioner Mashaw.
Motion to approve this item passes, then we take it to the board.
Couple more things, very quickly. You guys probably got an email from the DeSoto County Economic Council about an additional training in August. This is hosted for the Olive Branch Planning Commission, but I requested to open it up to anybody that wants to go, just for some additional learning. They're gonna provide lunch. I believe it's August 8th. Is it 19th? Sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but it's in August. I'm gonna re-forward the email tomorrow. So please feel free to attend if you'd like to. It'll be some good stuff. They're hiring
August
experts. 19th? Okay.
Wednesday. 10 to
So,
1.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Yeah, 19, 10 to 1.
There's that, and then I'm gonna tell you all on a personal note, I have accepted a different position with DeSoto County. I don't wanna shotgun anybody, but it's all kind of accelerated pretty quick. The deputy director position on the administrator is open, so they've asked me to fill that, and I've accepted. So,
Congratulations.
thanks, I appreciate that, and I'm committed to making this transition as seamless as possible, so I've given them about a month to start doing things, so I'm sure you'll see a lot of stuff in the next week or so. I'm gonna make sure you hear it from me, so it's kind of in the works.
Congratulations.
So appreciate that, thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Any candidates?
Not yet, no. Looking.
Josie or Kristen can lead the next.
You got it.
So,
That's just across the street, right?
yeah, just around the corner.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to.
Motion adjourned. Second.
All right. Motion that meeting adjourned.